Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We have a mailbag coming up where I'm going to be answering questions from subscribers. So go down in the comments section and subscribe, because the only way you can get on this mailbag is if you're a subscriber. So go down right now, hit that thumbs up icon, and hit the sub button. Let's go, Big Blue. First question in coming up from the real one, Crim's dad, my man. He said, seems like the Giants may pass on Saquon Barkley. There are rumors out there that Saquon Barkley wants north of $14 million per year. There's rumors that the Giants offered him a deal of $12 million per year back at the bye week. He declined it. I mean, look, I'm on the fence about Saquon Barkley. I think we learned this weekend, and I've been on this, but it's hard to build a running game around a running back. And what I mean is, it doesn't matter who your running back is. If your offensive line is below average, you're going to have a below average rushing attack. The key to being able to dominate the trenches in the run game is the offensive line. Would you rather have Saquon Barkley at $14 million or starting interior offensive lineman at $8 million and then another Mike Backer at $6 million? It's going to be an interesting offseason with Saquon Barkley. Either way, I'm cool with it. I get bringing him back. I get it. But I also understand if you got to move on from him. Running backs getting a second contract in the NFL tend to not work out as well as you'd think they would. Will Jackson, my man, says, how does a first and a second and maybe a 20? That's just too much. I also don't really think there's a need for a guy like Jimmie Ward on this team. You got Xavier McKinney. You got Dane Belton, who you just drafted. You also have Julian Love, who I think the Giants are going to bring back. I'd love to get Brandon Aiyuk. I think it would cost you a first-round pick. I think it's key to remember that the San Francisco 49ers don't have a first-round pick in 2023. But I'm not really willing to offer more than a first-round pick for Aiyuk. I think he's a good player. 78 grabs, I believe, last year. Take him outside of an offense with Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy, and those type of quarterbacks. I think that Aiyuk could go be a 100 reception type of guy. Zach Vela, my man, he says, do you think we could salary dump Kenny Golladay for a 5th or a 6th? 5th, no. 6th, I think it might have to be one of those situations, Zach, where it's like Kenny Golladay and a 7th for a 7th. Or Kenny Golladay and a 6th for a 7th. Trading Kenny Golladay, though, would be probably the best case scenario for Big Blue. So if the Giants release Kenny Golladay prior to June 1st, they have a dead cap hit of $14.7 million, but they save $6.7 million. If you trade him, you have a dead cap hit of $10.2 million, and you save $11.2 million. So you save almost $5 million more dollars if you trade him. If you're able to find a deal, sure. I just wonder if Kenny Golladay is going to be wanted by anybody in the National Football League. It's unfortunate that it didn't work for Big Blue and Kenny Golladay. I just don't really know what's going on with Golladay at this point. If you can, sure, but I don't think you're not going to get anything for Kenny Golladay. You're definitely going to have to give up something. No doubt about it. This next one coming in from my guy, Johnny Drama. Who will be better in 2023? Isaiah Hodgins or OBJ? Johnny Drama, great question. Shout out to Jess Mancini. I think it's Hodgins. I do. You know what? I don't know. If OBJ's healthy, it's OBJ, no doubt about it. But Hodgins, I think, showed you that he could be an elite receiver in this league. I just don't know if you could go into a season, though, with Hodgins as your number one. I love him. I love the upside he has. But I'd be a lot more comfortable if Hodgins came into this team and was a wide receiver 3. I'll ask you, though. Pick a wide receiver for me in the comment section. Type IH for Isaiah Hodgins. Type OBJ for Odell Beckham Jr. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Type IH for Hodgins, OBJ for OBJ. Mitch, what up, man? He says Richie James isn't the biggest. He's 5'9", and Jordan Addison isn't the biggest either. I think he has the potential to be a part of Big Blue. I think if Jordan Addison is on the board at 25, the Giants would love to select a guy like Jordan Addison to this team. I'm not necessarily scared of, Addison, but I do have a little bit of concern about his size. I think he's a smaller, slighter Stephon Diggs, but it's always concerning when your number one playmaker on an offense, which, to be honest, Addison would be if you take him in the first round. Can he consistently win one-on-one matchups outside, line up all over the field at 6 foot, 175 pounds? Richie James is solid, but Addison is 10 times the player that Richie James is. Would love to get Addison on this football team. Am a little bit worried about his size. Corinne, what up, Corinne? Would Evan Neal be better at guard? Shit, he can't be much worse at tackle, so I would hope so. I am pretty upset. Maybe not upset is the right word. Disappointed with Evan Neal's rookie year. A lot of people had this guy as the most pro-ready player in the 22 draft, and I don't think that he lived up to that hype. He, to be quite frank, was not a good offensive lineman this season. And anytime he went up against an elite edge rusher, that edge rusher got the best of him every single time. Evan Neal has to make big steps this offseason. He has all the skills. He has all the potential. He has all the size. But he needs to take a big step, similar to a step that Andrew Thomas took. Not saying you need to be an all-pro player in year 2, but can I get some consistency on the right side and just be able for you to start moving people like you were at Alabama? I'm not out on Evan Neal, but the Giants, they better see some production for him, or he's either going to slide into guard like Corinne is talking about, or they're going to be looking for a new right tackle. And either way, if he's not good this year, they're going to be looking for a good right tackle. Knicks kicks. If Brady leaves, does Tampa Bay trade Evans? And if so, are the Giants a possible target? I think that both Evans and Godwin could be on the market. Godwin did just sign that contract, but I think Mike Evans should and could be a target. This is a guy that since he entered the NFL in that same draft as OBJ has had 1,000+ yards in every single season. Had 77 grabs this year, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. The year before, 74, 1,000, 14 touchdowns. He had 27 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He had 14 receiving touchdowns in 2021. To act like this guy is not a bona fide number 1 wide receiver is a bit ludicrous, but it's going to take some draft capital. I think it would take probably a first-round pick to land a guy like Mike Evans. The age is a little bit concerning. He's about to be, I believe, 30 years old, or about to be 31. Look, I like Evans. I would love to trade for him. If Brady leaves the Bucs, that's definitely an interesting team to keep your eye on. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but first, I want to tell you guys about our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code chat125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You could bet on the Super Bowl, you could bet on the NBA, and before you know it, opening day is 55 days away. MLB's right here. You can bet on everything because BetUS, we've got your game. Jenkins Gaming says, Trenton Simpson is first and Parker Washington. Your thoughts? I like Simpson. I think he's a good sideline-to-sideline linebacker. We know the Giants need a guy like that on the football field. They need to get better at the linebacker spot. Parker Washington, the slot receiver, I would call him, from Penn State. He actually went to my high school, a little bit younger than I am. He's an elite player, and he has been since he was a young kid. He's locked in. He's a good kid. He's all about football. I would love for the Giants to select him. I think he's either a day 2 or day 3 guy at this point, you would say? Day 2 guy. If you can get him in round 3, I don't know if he's a second-round guy, but I like Parker Washington. He's versatile. He's got strong hands. He's known for making big plays. He's done that all his life. Parker Washington is the guy that I would love to see on Big Blue. Go See Boy says, do you think we'll do something with James Washington? Do you think Higgins will be good because you've seen what happened with Kenny G? I don't think that the Kenny Golladay and T. Higgins scenarios are even remotely the same. The year before the Giants signed Golladay, that season he was hurt and he had injuries. T. Higgins has never really been injured. He's showed that he can be an elite wide receiver. I mean, did you see the catch in the AFC Championship game? This is a guy that 50-50 balls are actually 80-20 balls. He's 6'4", can stretch the field. A little bit worried about his route tree as he can't run every single route, but T. Higgins would step in and be the number one wide receiver on this team by a mile. He's usually about a 77 catch guy per year. Taken away from Jamar Chase, I think T. Higgins could be a 100 catch per year guy. Big fan of T. Higgins. I would trade a first-round pick for him. I don't know if that's enough, though. What a name this is, and it is just not the truth. Jokic, Arrow, Embiid, not sure what that means. Is KT5 going to be the best New York Giants pass rusher? Ever? No, I'd love that, but I don't know about ever. He's got some tough company to deal with Lawrence Taylor. But I'm looking for Kayvon Thibodeau to take a big step this offseason. I think he had 4 sacks this year. A couple of them were when he was untouched, so I expect for him to make plays like that, but it's time for him to kick it up a notch. You saw a guy like Hassan Riddick. You saw a guy like Micah Parsons. You saw people play in the playoffs this year that could absolutely just wreck games, and there's no reason Kayvon Thibodeau can't be the same for New York. You picked him number 5 overall. He needs to be a guy that is a perennial Pro Bowl and a guy that makes a couple of All-Pros. I think he has every tool in his bag. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. I think he has the mindset. I just think he needs a big offseason. Get a little bit bigger, get a little bit stronger, and I think Kayvon Thibodeau will be just fine. I think this is a good question, though, and I like it. Will Kayvon Thibodeau be a star? Type S for star, A for average, or B for bust. S-A-B. Star, average, bust. I think he's going to be a star. He needs to get better, no doubt about it. I don't see any bust in Kayvon Thibodeau. As long as he stays as good as he was rookie year, he won't be a bust. I think he's got star potential. No doubt about it. If we missed your question on this mailbag, you can always get on the next mailbag. All you have to do, though, is subscribe. Hit that big red button, sub to the channel. I usually say sub for Giants dubs, but it's going to be a long, long time till the Giants are back on the football field. What up, Brody? Says, hey, Marsh, do you think we should get Gesicki, or do you think Bellinger is good enough? I like Gesicki. I think he's one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the NFL. Did not have that good of a year with the Miami Dolphins, but I think if you go back and look at what he did the prior years before McDaniel got there, he really was an elite pass catcher. He's not a blocking tight end, so I do think actually Gesicki and Bellinger could be a good duo. I like Bellinger a lot. I just don't know if he's ever a tight end number 1. I think he's always going to be a great tight end too because he has the receiving ability and he can block. But if you're looking for someone that maybe could fill I'm not saying he is Travis Kelce. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Mike Gesicki could be a guy that Mike Kafka uses like Travis Kelce, like Kafka when Kafka was with Kansas City, like Kelce was used there. I'm not giving big money, though, to a tight end just yet on this football team. A couple more holes to fill. Blue City Empire Sports says the Empire State Building is now a disgrace to New York and New Jersey. What's your opinion? I hope someone got fired. The fact that the Empire State Building was lit up in Eagles colors, and then the fact they tweeted out and said, "Fly, Eagles, fly." And they tried to save their asses with it being colored red for the Chiefs. It was ridiculous. I don't root for people to be fired, but that's a fireable offense. Read the room a little bit. Mitch says, will we sign OBJ in the offseason? I don't know. I think the plane incident that happened recently, and the words that he said, I don't have to play in the regular season, I think that might have scared off the Giants a little bit. Dable, Shane, they've said 3 words and 3 phrases that they like about football players. Smart, tough, and dependable. I don't know if OBJ is any of those. Dependable. Is he tough? Sure. I don't want to insult the man's intelligence, but can you trust him? I think that's been proven that you can't. If I missed your question, give me a follow over on Twitter @MarshallGreen_. Would love to see OBJ back because I'm a fan, but I don't know if it's the best move for the Giants at this point. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_, and we can chop it up about the Giants over there.